Hello all, we'll just give everyone a couple of minutes to join. Okay, good evening everyone. Thank you for joining our online cooking class with Jesper Hansen. We've got a treat ready to be served up for us tonight and hope you do at home as well. If you've got any questions along the way, we'll do our best to get to them if you put them in the Q&A box. Otherwise, there will be time at the end to ask any general questions of Jesper. He'll do his best along the way to give you some tips if you need it and let us know how you're getting on. So I'll pass over to Jesper Hansen.
All right, thank you very much, Mitch. And a big thank you to everyone who has joined in today. A big thank you, the biggest one, of course, to all the members. Chose this spot here tonight, so maybe you can spot your boat in the background. I know it's getting a bit dark out there. Also, thanks for my work colleagues and friends and family and other Blonde Catering clients for joining in tonight. And a big thank you to the club for hosting this event tonight. Tonight we're going to do my favorite mussel recipe, Mussels Marinières. It's the classic mussels in white wine sauce. Tonight we're going to be cooking with some Spencer Gulf mussels. They are from South Australia. They are a native blue mussel, which is available all year round. They are organically grown. They are sustainably harvested, so they have had zero impact on the environment, which is of course very important in today's climate. Out of the 2 kilos of mussels that I cleaned earlier, they say they're ready to, they say on the package that they are ready to throw in the pot, but I would definitely plenty of water, rinse them really well, even let them sit in a little bit of cold water, tip it out, fresh water. About a third of them actually still had the beard in them. Don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that is not nice. So definitely get rid of that. I have another one here, I think. Yeah, get rid of that. It can be a bit tough, so we go. Also, there were 9 of them. I'm not going to cook because a few of them are not alive. We don't want that. You can just tap it gently. Yep, there's no one home. It's dead. So yeah, we don't want that. And there were 2 that had a bit of broken shell. Technically, we could still use them because I can see it's still alive, but it's just not nice to have those shells in the food when we are eating them later. For the vegetables, for a classic Mussels Marinières, we have French shallots that some like to dice them really fine, but as I'm going to show you later, I just think they can be a little bit bigger, but just make sure you have them in a similar size to the other vegetables, just so it cooks at a similar speed. I'm just going to slice these up, and I have 4 here. They are quite generous size. You can of course add more vegetables if you want to have a more filling dish. So we're just going to place them in this bowl up here. So if you're chopping along at home, I hope I'm not too fast. Otherwise, tell Mitch that I should slow down. I'm just chopping these up. This is my favorite recipe of Mussels Marinières, and that's actually because I had it on my permanent on my menu at my seafood restaurant I had in Denmark, at a seaside town called Hornbæk. So that's why it's close to my heart, this recipe. With a leek, either, as I said, cut them in julienne. That's the classical French way to do it, like in sticks. If you find that a little bit too difficult, you can also just slice them the short way. And again, just cut them similar size as the onion and similar size as you're going to cut the carrots. So we're just letting this join the bowl. Go. Just remember to turn on the pot. carrot, as I said, I like to cut it in julienne. Just looks good on the mussels. If you cut the vegetables too big, it's a dish that cooks really quickly when we have everything in the pot. So you want to have it cut out pretty fine. I wouldn't cut it any bigger than this. I don't know if you can see this. A bit of the carrots. Bit of an echo here. There we go. So that's nice sticks. Then we have the ginger, just cut it really fine. That way you get like really all the flavors out of it. I like to cut it so it's grown this way, so all the veins and the ginger is going this way. So if you cut it this way, it's you get the most flavors out of it. If you have a microplane or something fancy like that, you can of course spray it with that. So just slice it, and then you slice it in as fine as you can. As fine as you can. Like this. Oop, there's a piece there. With the garlic, you just give it a good brush. A bit of a rough chop as well. As I said, this is the classic recipe of Mussels Marinières. It has quite, all these flavors are quite delicate. So I think it goes well with these kind of mussels. We're gonna talk a little bit later about other versions, but you can definitely spice it up a bit if you like. I know Arthur Lane is watching. He probably would like to add chili, and Arthur, of course, you can do that. That will definitely spice it up with a bit of red chili in there. And with the thyme today, I bought some lemon thyme. I think it goes really well with that lemony flavor. So we're just gonna take that off here. Make sure not to get any of the hard stems in there. So just slide it off. And then I think that's enough. Give that a bit of a chop as well. You're all following with your chopping. So there we go. So there we have the vegetables. We have the carrots in julienne. The leek you can either do in julienne or just chop them up. We have the ginger, the garlic, and the thyme. And I'm just going to add a few bay leaves. These are from my garden, so they're fresh. The flavor is not really powerful this time of the year, so I'll just put an extra one in there. You can of course use the dried one. If they're using the dried one, I recommend just put them in water for like 5-10 minutes before you start cooking. So now all the hard work is done, then we should start cooking. So my pot is hot, and as the recipe said, about 25 grams of butter, and then we have about 100 grams that's for later when we're making the sauce. So I'll just add this to the pot. If you're having it's really important that you have a really hot pot, because as I said, it's a dish that that cooks really quick. And you kind of want that steam and saute and of the vegetables and the mussels. So it's quite a quick cook. If you got the pot a little bit too hot, like I just got, you can add a little bit of oil, just normal vegetable oil. Just let the heat go a bit higher. So you put in your vegetables that we just chopped. And I'm going to give it a quick thing. You can see up here. Okay, we're just sauteing it. Just want it to be cooked through. We want it to be a bit translucent. We want it to be cooked about 90% because, as I said, with the mussels going in, it's gonna be pretty quick to do. We're gonna add the mussels in a minute, and then the wine, about 250 mils of wine or cup. Marina and I talked about a good wine for this, and we came up with, Marina came up with this, and I completely agree. It's a beautiful wine. It's a Riesling, which is good with mussels. Riesling is normally not sweet or not a dry wine. It's there in the middle, which this one is. It's from, funny enough, from South Australia as well, where the mussels are from. This one is quite fruity, so it goes really well with this kind of classic Marinière. So the vegetables are almost there. Just going to give them a little bit more. Go. And then I don't know if you can just pop it up here. Then I don't know if you can see it a bit better now. You can see they are getting soft. They are almost there. So it's time for the mussels to join the fun. So we give it a quick stir. This electric cooker is a little bit slower than a normal commercial gas burner is, but it will probably be the same speed as the one you have at home. If you have a big pot like this, it will steam quite quickly. If you have a smaller pot and the mussels are deeper, of course it will cook a bit slower. The result is the same. It's just a bit quicker. About, I think that's half a cup. I said in the recipe, have a lid that fits. I'm just going to use this bowl because then I can transfer the mussels. You're going to transfer your mussels into your bowl that you're serving in. I just want to put it in here, and then I can show you how to do a bit of a serving as if it was an entree or if it was a main course. When they have finished steaming, we're going to add some parsley. So I like to use the flat Italian parsley. It has a bit of a more elegant flavor for this. So I think that's about enough. So I'll just give that a quick chop. So when the mussels are steamed and opened up, we'll then make the sauce, which is very simple to do. It's just the juice from the mussels and the wine, and then reduce it down, and then we'll add the butter and the parsley. As you probably have seen, I haven't used any salt in the cooking I've done tonight. Sometimes, you know, the mussels is a live product, and we can you know, we can't really control how salty it is. So it's easier to add more salt than it is to pull it out again. So, so that's why I haven't added any. So I will taste it later, and then you can then add the salt that you want. Also, some like it really salty, and I'm guilty of that. Or, you know, some are not that fond of salt. And you should definitely be very careful. So I'll just chop this really roughly, like that. I think that's good. Just like that. That. So that is ready for later. Here we go. Put that one away. Made a mess here, so I'm just going to quickly wipe that off. Let's have a look how it's going. Oh, they definitely need a bit more. There are many alternatives with mussels, with mussel recipes. There is, of course, the tomato based recipe that we have on every Saturday, or we used to have on when we were open, and hopefully that will be soon again. We will open up, and the mussels we had on Saturdays were popular, so we are of course going to put them back on. That, as I mentioned, that was a tomato-based recipe. You do exactly what I've done here, but before you put in the mussels, you actually finish the sauce and put in some really wine-ripened tomatoes, some tomato paste, maybe some basil, probably a little bit more garlic, and then finish the sauce. When you like the sauce, then you put in the mussels and you steam the mussels in the sauce, taste it again, and then serve it that way. Another great recipe I like is if you go a bit in the Asian style. I would probably swap the parsley with lots of coriander, put in more ginger, and maybe some Asian vegetables chopped up fine. You could even add some red curry paste or green curry paste if you really want it spicy like Arthur Lane, or, you know, just make it a milder one and use a yellow curry instead. You can also, of course, if you don't want to just have mussels, you can do the tomato-based mussel recipe. Just do 1 kilo for 2 people, and then just have some cooked linguine, and you know, turn that in at the last minute, and then you kind of have a more pasta, more heartier dish, where this one is more summer, you know, with a glass of wine in the sun. Have a look. Oh, they're simmering along nicely. Is there anyone, Mitch, that had any questions? Oh, I must be doing very well then. You know, there were a question that came in the other day about using the New Zealand green mussels. They are sometimes a bit hard to find. They are larger. And they are a bit more meaty, they're a bit more flavorsome. So for a Mussels Marinières classic recipe like this, I would use the blue or the black mussels. If you were going down the lane of having a more spicy or the tomato-based, where you can use you can use the green New Zealander mussels. They are, because they're a bit more meaty, they can actually take a bit more of a punch from you know, the other ingredients that you are adding in there. Let's just give these a bit of a stir. Almost there. I think we just need a little bit longer. When I went to the fish market today. I know we're all talking about it and hearing on the news that everyone is doing it tough. I know a lot of you guys out there, especially the members, love your seafood. I can only say, you know, buy your seafood at your local seafood shop, not at the big outlets. Fortunately, quite a few of them are closed because of these tough times. If you live in a safe driving radius to the fish market, maybe drive down there. I went there this morning and it was a little bit of a sad sight. Most of the cars in the parking lot were actually all the suppliers' cars parked there. They were not on the road during deliveries. So it's really safe down there. A lot of the venues are open, like to the weather. Some of them you hardly have to go inside. The boom gates have been taken down, so you don't have to pay for parking. So it's quick in, do your shopping with your masks on, check in, check out, back in the car. I bought these mussels within 5 minutes. I was out of there. So it's really safe, and try and support, you know, the small suppliers, either at the fish market or wherever you live. It's quite important in these times. They are almost ready. I was asked about the green New Zealander mussels, if you could make them into Kilpatrick, if I could recommend that. I like my Kilpatrick with oysters. I like using the fresh ones, chopping myself, bit of bacon, tomato sauce with Worcester sauce, and in the oven or under the salamander. But you can, of course, use it with the green New Zealand mussels if you can get them fresh. They are a bit hard to open, so just be really careful. And when you open them away from yourself, not into your hand, and make them with them. But yeah, a lot of times you can't get them fresh and you can only get the frozen ones. And I would say a cooked product, then cooking it again is not great. If you like the big New Zealander mussels, I think you should do like a tomato salsa or something like that with a really good olive oil, and then spoon that on and serve them that way, and not a cooked product cooked again. So the mussels are definitely ready now. I don't know, Mitch, if we could swap the camera, but you can definitely see now that they're cooked, they're open. So I'm just going to transfer that to this bowl. As I said, you can transfer them into your plate that you're going to eat off later. I'm just going to put it in here. You don't need to get the vegetables out of there. It's more important you just get the mussels out there, because you don't want them to overcook. They get really chewy, and yeah, it's not nice. So the vegetables, they can stay in. It doesn't matter if you scoop them out or if you leave them in the pot. You just want the mussels out. So we've got glasses are steaming on. It's definitely hot up here. So then we have the mussels out. I'm just going to cover them up so they don't go cold. As I said, you can place them in your bowls. It's good to have them heated up if you're going to put them in here. Have the bowls heated up a little bit in the oven, because it is a dish you like to slowly eat with a glass of wine, no rush. I'm just grabbing them up. So now in here we got the wine. There's definitely more than, you know, the 250 ml we put in before. That's because there are some juices from the mussels. So we're just going to let that, just going to reduce that down. I would say reduce it down a third. I am going to just quickly taste it to see. Definitely add some pepper for now. I'm not going to add any salt just yet, because as I mentioned, it might get a bit salty. Now we reduce it down. So now while that is reducing, as I said, simple recipe, reduce down, have the butter ready, chopped up a little bit. If you like a bit of a more creamy sauce, because it's a white wine sauce, it is just white wine, the juices and the butter and the parsley. You can definitely add a little bit of cream if you like that more creamy flavor. And some good crusty bread, of course. Break up and dip in the sauce. So that's reducing down. Yeah.
Question on keeping fresh mussels.
Yeah.
How long would you recommend keeping them for?
I mean, mussels is a live product. If you buy the ones that I bought this morning, and that was because the shop I went into, they didn't have the fresh ones lying out. They only have these ones. Normally, I would buy the fresh ones. These they say here they're good till the 23rd of August. That's a long time, some would say, for a live product, but they are cryovacs. There are some oxygen in there, so they actually can breathe, but they also cryovac just so much that they actually keep closed. So the answer to the question is you need to ask your fish supplier, how fresh are they? Are they from today or yesterday? And hopefully you can trust him. And then you should have them in the fridge in a bowl with a wet tea towel on, and then maybe just a plate on top, with a bit of pressure, just to keep them closed, like you would do with fresh oysters. Oysters you would have a bit of pressure on as well, so they don't open up too much, because that will dramatically, shorten their life. If your fish suppliers say that they are fresh and they are the loose ones, with a tea towel in a fridge with a plate on, I would say about 2 days, 48 hours. I wouldn't recommend any longer. And I know at the moment we're trying to shop, or that Gladys is telling us to, shop as little as possible. So we do go out and shop for 7 days at a time. And I know not many of you would have a cryovac machine at home to cryovac fish and mussels and things like that. I would say with the mussels, if you have a spare fridge in the garage, you know that the kids don't open and close all the time. Put your seafood in that and just tell the kids that they can't use that fridge for now. And then, have your seafood on day 1, day 2, and then, you go into your meats and things like that on day 3 and 4. But yeah, 48 hours to 2 days, that's probably the max for those loose. But again, you clean them, you put them in the bowl with a tea towel over, and then before you use them, 2 days later, same thing, let the water run on them, just rinse through, take them out, do that a few times. And then again, like we did before, just if they're open, you give them a bit of a knock, and if they don't close, then you throw them out. That means that they're no good. Are there any other questions? Not at the moment. So I would say this is getting very close. This is quite quick, and that's because, as I said, I have a fairly big pot, so it's reducing quite quickly. So that way, so I'll just have a taste again, just to make sure. That was a fresh spoon, of course. And yeah, it's getting there. It has a bit of a good punch, but of the ginger and the garlic, but not too dominating. So I think we are ready now to put in the butter. And as I said, it is, just chopped in cubes, so we'll put that in. I actually said in the recipe use a whisk, but I'm actually afraid that all the vegetables will get tangled in here. So I'm just going to use a spoon. So you really don't want it to boil too much with the butter. I have used non-salted butter today because I just want to make sure that, again, with the salt, probably can use a salted butter. Just make sure that, you know, it's not too salty. There are some French butters out there. They are extremely salty. They are amazing on bread. But yeah, for these kind of white wine sauces, they can be a little bit too salty. You just want the butter to melt in and just, as we say, malt with the stock, just bind in with the stock. If it boils too vigorously, it can split. Not that it does, you know, anything to the flavors. It just doesn't look as nice in the plate that, you know, when the butter have kind of split for the sauce. So that is just combined now, Mitch. I don't know if you can see it there. So it's just combined in there. So that is just perfect. We just want it to almost simmer again. When it almost simmers again, then we'll just put in the parsley, and then you are done. How are you all going at home? Are there anyone cooking with me at home that can keep up? Am I too quick? Otherwise, we will be on for a little bit longer. You're more than welcome to ask questions. I don't know, Mitch, can they ask questions after we're done as well? Yeah. So if you come up with some questions and we are finished, and you said, oh, why did I think of that? You can definitely ask the questions. And we will get back to you at some point.
Kendi has asked, how many mussels did you use?
Candice, I used 2 kilos was for this. As I said, it's a big serve, Candice. So in here, there will be about 35-40 mussels in here per kilo. But again, it depends on size. But that's about what was in here today. So when I serve it up in a minute, you can actually see how much 1 kilo is, and it is actually quite a lot. It is a big serve, and that's also why I wanted to half a serve as an entree. So you can see, so the recipe that we've just done now is for 4 people if you want to cook it as an entree. So, but Candice, about 35-40 in a kilo, so about 80 mussels is what is in here now. And they are medium sized. They're not small, they're not big. It's a medium size. They're very similar to the mussels that we're using down here on Saturdays for the mussel day and night there. So now this has just come up to simmer. I'm just gonna slide it off. Gonna add the parsley that we chopped. So just add that in there. Just give it a quick stir. Combine it all. And now the last tasting. Beautiful. No, definitely no salt. No salt is needed. And as you know, I like salt. No salt is needed at all. So then we're going to transfer the mussels. So I'm going to put half the mussels in this big bowl so you guys can see how much that actually is. It's easier with this big spoon. So as you guys can see, that's a good serve. I would say that's very close to half. That's about a quarter. Just over here. And then we'll spoon the sauce on. Here we have all of the vegetables, white fine sauce, lots of butter. Get it all over the mussels. There we go. So there we have it. Mussels Marinières. This is about half a kilo, so I would say that's plenty for an entree. And this is about a kilo candy, so this is about the 35-40 mussels. That is definitely good for a main course. And then some crusty bread, you know, break that out, and that of course is great too. I won't dip into here, but definitely to get the gravy and scoop that out. Very, very good. As I said, the wine, excuse me, the wine we're using today is the Jesper Pond Valley that Marina and I found. It's a 2021 whiskey. You can actually buy this if you're a member. You can actually buy that online, and it's a really favorable price at the moment. It's $20, $20 online. You can buy that and buy it online with Marina, and then come down and pick it up from me on Saturdays or Sundays. Vicky and I will be here. So I'll just give that a try. So if there are no more questions, I'll just say enjoy. We got one.
Got a few questions.
Yeah, good. I'll just try the wine.
Nephew Alexei asks.
Oh, my nephew.
Did you partially undercook the mussels as you foiled them to keep them warm?
No, Alexei, no, that I cooked them through. I wouldn't dare undercook them at all. If you are about to add them back into the sauce because you have done a creamy sauce, you think, oh, I'm going to put them back in because I'm going to do this dish maybe like half an hour before my guest arrives. You can slightly undercook them, but then you need to put them back into the sauce and heat them up again. But there is just a big danger that you will overcook them, and as I said, they'll go a little bit rubbery, and they're not as nice. So I will just cook them till they're done, just done. Cover them over. They'll keep hot. Do your sauce. When your sauce is ready, which you can see took me not long, and then spoon that over, and then they wouldn't have dropped much in temperature, and then you put the hot sauce over, and then it will be done.
Have you got any recommendations for what type of salad or a side dish to pair with the mussels?
If it's candies, of course, a Caesar salad. I know she loves that. But I mean, all jokes aside, I would recommend just a really nice garden salad. And because this is quite a soft dish, I would say. So I'll get something with a bit of crunch in it, which, you know, a Caesar salad can be. But also, or just some really nice crust lettuce, some fresh tomato, cucumber. Keep it simple, like this dish, and just have just a mild, maybe a lemon olive oil dressing over, and maybe just some fresh herbs in it. Something simple like that, I would probably recommend as a salad.
Question from Arthur.
Yes, Arthur.
Would you cook the chilies in the initial sauce, or would you add them later?
Arthur, I would cook them in the original sauce with the vegetables. I know you like it really spicy, so you know you would probably. I recommend you use a red chili and you put the seeds and everything in there, and then steam the mussels in there. Take the mussels out. Then when you put the butter and the parsley in there, Arthur, and you taste it like I did, and you think it needs a little bit more punch, then you can have some dried chili or some harissa sauce or Tabasco, and then just add that in there at the end if you wanted to have a bit of a more punch. But definitely the fresh red chilies, I would definitely put them in with the vegetables when they're sauteed to get that hot flavor out to start with. And then, yeah, for this recipe, I would probably, for you, Arthur, you'd probably like to add about 4 chilies for these 2 big serves. That's probably what I would recommend for you. And then if you, as again, you know, chilies are never as strong as the ones you got yesterday. So, you know, have those extra things ready, but yeah, have them ready so you can just quickly add them in. If you think, this needs a bigger punch, and some chili flakes or Tabasco or something like that, right at the end before you scoop over the sauce. Definitely. So if there are no more questions, and I'll let you get back to eating your mussels. I would like to thank you all for coming and into this Zoom meeting. And I know this is not as good as being here on the deck. And I hope you all are allowed to come back very soon because I miss you all. Blanc team miss you all. We have planned lots of events coming up. They are, of course, on hold, and we're kind of changing them into takeaway because we can't invite you down here, fortunately. So there have been a few changes already. Upcoming things is Father's Day. As you know, we normally have a Aussie barbecue down here. You come down, pick your meats and your fish and chicken or whatever, and do your own salads. And we cook for you out here on the deck. Of course, we can't do that this year. So what we've done is we've done a pickup Father's Day basket of food where there will be some steaks and chickens, there'll be some nice salads and things like that. And it will be we can pre-cook it for you. So it's very easy for you to just take on your boat or home. Or we can have it just raw marinated if you want to cook it yourself on your boat or at home. And that will be an onshore on Monday. And so there'll be more. And so keep an eye on onshore for the members especially. And we try and send out in the newsletter for Blonde things that are coming up. As I say, things have changed quite a lot, and we are turning them into takeaway and pick up things. Otherwise, again, thank you for joining in, for Zooming in, and I hope to see you down here. We are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Vicky and I and the team. As I said, sorry, Thursday to Sunday from 8 in the morning till 2 o'clock. And every Saturday we're doing the paella. We started with a small pan. We are now doing the biggest pan we have. And for the first time, we're making the big pan. It's sold out every week now for 4 weeks. And if we keep going this way, I guess we need to have more staff and an extra pan on. So come down. It's ready for around 12:15. You can call Vicky direct on the bistro phone if you want. If you're running late and you desperately don't want to miss out, just call Vicky and book in your order, and we'll make sure that it is put aside for you if you come. And just remember to come before 2 o'clock. So again, I hope to see you down here soon. And I hope, of course, we can open the doors even sooner and invite you back in. But for now, thank you very much for Zooming in. And if everyone thinks this is a good idea, then we'll definitely do it again. Thank you very much and have a good evening.